Stop the presses. We actually won a game of football. Hello everyone, welcome to the Andrew Woodhouse Show, Tuesday, 27th of August 2024. It's 1:05 PM. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Right, Leeds United. Well, we start, where else could we start? With the Mighty Whites, taking on Sheffield Wednesday the other night, and a 2-0 win at Hillsborough. And that was a performance that we've been wanting to see so far this season. Composed at the back, fluid going forward, to be honest. It looked very, very good indeed. The goals were great, and I called them. I said we would win 2-0. I did it. You know, I don't brag very often, but I'm going to brag about this one. You know, I don't get predictions right very often. That's why I'm not a lottery winner. That's why I don't do betting, because it doesn't go very well. But I got this one right, and I won't let anyone forget it. Dan James, Brendan Aronson with the goals. The first goal especially was really, really fantastic. We managed to escape a Sheffield Wednesday press, down in the right back area. A couple of little 1-2s, first time passes. Ball was played through to Joseph. He was tackled, and then Aronson picks it up, cuts inside, shows great composure, down the middle of the goal for 1-0. There weren't too many scares actually coming from Sheffield Wednesday's side, and then in the second half, it was played through for Dan James, electric pace, some of the best pace in the Championship really, and he made an absolute mess of the goalkeeper. Beautiful chip, just a delicate finish. It takes a lot of confidence to commit to that kind of finish actually, because you don't exactly know. Yeah, you think the goalkeeper's going to go to ground, but you're never exactly sure whether he is. And James, well, he bet on that, and he bet on himself, and came up smelling the roses really. A second goal for Leeds United, the 3 points secured, and the unbeaten start to the season continues. And where are all the haters? Where are all the people, the doubters at the moment? Where are they? You can't hear them, can you? I'm doing my best Delia Smith impression. Where are you? Because, you know, yeah, it's not an electric start to the season, but unbeaten, 5 points. If you'd have asked me, would I take it? Absolutely, certainly would. Because, you know, you don't want to have a terrible start. You don't want to be struggling for where the points are going to come from. You want those points on the board straight away, because it puts pressure on the opponents. You see it year in, year out when teams get off to a poor start. They just can't get out of that little funk. They can't get out of the rut. And it makes every single game harder and harder and harder. Now the first win's on the board. We can look forward. We can concentrate on the next game, which is Hull City. And potentially Liam Cooper could be playing for them, which could be really, really interesting, of course. And, you know, I wish him well, as I'm sure all Leeds United fans do. We will never forget the contribution of Captain Coop and what he did for that team, getting us promoted. He was a stalwart in the Premier League. Yeah, the first season he wasn't actually great, but the second year he was a lot better. The team was a lot worse, but he was a lot better, and he steadied the ship for us in many ways when we were struggling, when we had a bit of a rotating, a bit of a carousel of defenders, centre-backs. Cooper was there. He was a constant presence, and, you know, say what you want, but he really carried the baton for leadership in that dressing room, and he will be missed. And I'm sure that he will do well continuing his professional career in the Championship with presumably Hull City. So Manor Solomon is in as well, on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. He was at Fulham. We mentioned slightly the other day, he made quite a few huge impacts off the bench for Fulham. Then he forced himself in the starting lineup. went to Tottenham. He's only played 5 league games, had some injuries, had quite a bit of time out. But I think it'll be a great signing for Leeds United. I think he's far. I think he's quite far above the quality of player that most of the Championship teams can attract, and I'm hoping that he's going to be definitely a huge part of firing us back to the Premier League. So, yeah, Manor Solomon, you know, I think he'll be a great addition, and yeah, we're looking forward to his input for the rest of the season. We've got some sad news, of course, to bring to you. Well, not to bring to you. A lot of people, everybody knows really that former England manager Sven Eriksson died yesterday, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day for football. It's a sad day for English football. It's a sad day for Sweden, because, you know, they've lost a really, really great person, genuine, humble human being, excellent manager. You know, he always gave his best, be it as a club manager or an international manager. And, you know, he's bowed out in classy fashion, shall we say, with his, he had his documentary, he managed Liverpool in that charity match. He sent heartfelt messages to the England squad during the Euros, and, you know, if we could all conduct ourselves the way that he has in such terrifying circumstances, because let's be honest, if that was you, would you be so composed? Would you be so classy and stoic in that kind of, in the face of your own mortality and in the face of the end, essentially? But Sven might be gone from this world, but he lives on in the memory of most football fans around the world, especially, like I say, England fans and fans of the clubs that he managed. And, you know, thoughts are with his family and friends. But a really great guy. And the 2002 World Cup is probably going to be remembered as his best chance of any glory with England. That was when, of course, we came a cropper at the hands of Brazil, and more specifically Ronaldinho, with that long range, did he mean it, did he not, free kick? I think he meant it. Sven got quite a good bit, really, out of a pretty good England squad, and, you know, he'll be remembered for giving it a good go at a time when English football was a little bit up and down. So I think he's a good example to set for football fans, managers, players, everyone, and there's been tributes pouring in from all over the place. Wayne Rooney's tribute was really nice, and just shows how highly thought of Sven was and is in the football community. So rest in peace, Sven-Göran Eriksson, and thank you for everything that you did for the sport of football and your contribution to society as well. Right, Formula 1 now, and the Dutch GP was at the weekend, and it was victory for Lando Norris, his second of the season, his second of his career, of course. And it was notable because not only the victory for Norris and McLaren, but it really, really underlined the dominance of their car at the moment. He beat Max Verstappen by over 20 seconds. Verstappen didn't have any obvious mistakes or damage or anything. And really underlined just how fast the McLaren is at the moment. And for Norris, it was also a statement against his teammate Oscar Piastri too, because there had been some talk that Lando was sort of losing his grip almost on the McLaren team, that Piastri's winning Hungary, and the team asking him to move over for the Australian was a sign that potentially Piastri was sort of encroaching on his space, if you will, in the team, and his kind of perceived number one status. But Lando made a big statement on Sunday, and he drove flawlessly. It was the strategy from McLaren was fine. There were no mistakes, and Piastri struggled to get through the traffic. Finished fifth in the end, but I think that and Oscar was a bit unfortunate, let's be honest, right? Oscar was a little bit unfortunate that it didn't quite go his way. Didn't drive badly. Not a lot he could have done. Sorry, it was fourth, wasn't it? Behind Charles Leclerc, who he just couldn't get close enough to. I don't think he even really got the DRS on him at any stage in order to even mount a challenge. And there it was. He just had to sit in fourth and 27 seconds off the lead. So yeah, slightly better race for Sergio Perez. Started fifth, finished sixth, 16.5 seconds behind Max Verstappen. I mean, compared to what he has been, that's actually a absolutely fine performance, and he had a faster lap than Verstappen. Doesn't really mean a great deal, but at the end of the day, for Red Bull, he still finished behind Piastri, which means that the Constructors' Championship battle has shrunk down to quite some degree, where I believe, let's see now, 30 points it is now. So McLaren are coming. McLaren are really mounting a challenge. Ferrari are still only 64 points behind. So again, they didn't really show much on Friday and Saturday, but they were definitely a lot better in the race. They definitely showed that they can. I've said definitely about 4 times there. They have shown that they could even be a championship challenger if a few things go their way, and if get a bit of luck, or some of the tracks will suit them. So don't completely count out Ferrari. In the Drivers' Championship, it's 70 points still for Verstappen, but Norris has shown, and if McLaren can start getting some 1-2s, Norris has shown that potentially, only potentially, I still think it's a real long shot that there'll be a real battle for the Drivers' Championship. I mean, Verstappen is already nearly on 300 points. But I do think that Norris could challenge, but he's going to have to be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have to be absolutely perfect in order to mount any sort of challenge whatsoever and take this fight to the last round, because Verstappen, at the end of the day, that is still a massive points gap to bridge. I want to just talk a little bit on Mercedes and Aston Martin, who had a pretty difficult race, really. I mean, Aston, they started 7th and 8th with Alonso and Stroll and finished only 10th and 13th. It was yet again one of those races where they were sort of the best of the rest in qualifying, but then in the race the strategy wasn't really wonderful. The pace wasn't really as good as what it could have been, and of course a good strategy or two from Pierre Gasly managed to get him ahead to leapfrog both Aston Martins. Having started just behind them on the grid. a few green shoots for Alpine again. I mean, we've had this where they had a few races where they were pretty competitive. They were in, they were points. I think they scored points in 4 races in a row or something like that. And Gasly in particular has looked pretty energised in the last few rounds. But again, fighting for 9th isn't where they want to be. It's not where Aston want to be, but it's certainly an improvement on what had gone just previously, just a few races before, where they were struggling to get off the back couple of rows of the grid, fighting with Sauber and Williams. So, well done for them. Well done to Pierre Gasly. He did finish on the podium, didn't he, I think, last year. So, so it's obviously a track that Gasly gets on with well and that he likes. And hopefully for them, it carries on to... I think Monza's going to be tough, though. Monza is going to be tough for them. They don't have the engine power, really. So you might see Alpine near the back there. Either that or they'll double down, chuck a load of downforce on. Might be quite quick in qualifying, but I think the race, they may well struggle. Haas as well, though, we're talking about, because Nico Hülkenberg did have another really good solid weekend. He qualified 12th, finished 11th. Yeah, that doesn't sound too spectacular, but Hülkenberg has really dominated Kevin Magnussen this season. And Haas didn't want to keep Magnussen in the car, and to be honest, I think they're probably justified in that. He's not really been in form particularly. He's been beaten by Hülkenberg fairly comprehensively. But I think Haas letting Hülkenberg go to Sauber and taking Ocon instead, I think is maybe a bit of an error. But Hülkenberg is going to a team which will become Audi. It may work for him. They did want a German driver. He's the only obvious choice for a German driver at the moment. But yeah, Nico Hülkenberg, certainly another really good performance. If he will probably score some fairly regular points in the second half of the season. And before I go, I just want to touch on some baseball action over the weekend. You've had the Colorado Rockies were in New York against the Yankees on Saturday and Sunday, where it was on Saturday. It was a comprehensive win. It was 9-3, and then the Yankees did win. I think it was 10-2 on Sunday, but then last night was the Rockies taking on the Marlins at home at Coors Field, and Ryan McMahon hit the winning run, the home run, in the 6th inning, was it? 7th inning, to beat the Marlins 3-2 and send the fans home happy. It was Tyler Kinley with the save. Just one run allowed in his last 13 appearances. So very, very strong for Tyler Kinley once more. Right, everybody, that is me done for today. Thank you very, very much for watching and listening to my ramblings once again. I will be back with another program tomorrow, and there will be a special broadcast this week as well. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be. It will either be tonight or tomorrow morning, where I'll be reviewing All Elite Wrestling All In. We did the preview last week. If you haven't seen it, try and go and watch it. I'm sure it's still available on pay-per-view replays. It was a really great show. Not a perfect show, but I do think that it was definitely up there with some of the best things that AEW's done, and I do urge you to go and watch it if you have any interest at all in professional wrestling. Definitely go and have a look at that, but I will be giving you my verdict on all the matches on my All In review So stay tuned to the channel for that. Like, share and subscribe. Click the bell icon to know when I go live. And yeah, well, thank you very much from myself, Andrew Woodhouse. I'll see you next time on the Andrew Woodhouse Show. Cheers.